It all started on a chilly January morning with a GPS in hand and a goal in mind. Through the pouring rain and flashes of lightning, they pushed forward, determined not to quit. On the final day, standing atop a snowy hill, they found their last cache and felt the weight of accomplishment. Back home, the coin took its place, a reminder of every challenge and every victory.
And there's the coin from the video. It is available. It's our 365 challenge coin. And there are a few left. We started with 50. We're down to like, I don't know, 15 or something like that. So if you'd like to buy one, you can go to geocachetalkshop.etsy.com and you can get the coin. It's a great coin. It's got stained glass effect. So let me see if I can get you the. This is always a little tricky because I got too bright of a light with me, but I can fiddle around with it a little bit. You can kind of see it. Oh, there it is. There you go. Ooh, there we go. There's a good angle. There's a good angle right there. So it's got all the seasons on it: spring, summer, winter, and fall. So there you go. All right. Oh. So big thanks to our new patrons. We have Trail Snail 51, Super Chuckles, and returning patron Caching Karma. And our featured patrons tonight are the patrons that are in the states that start with the letter C. So that would be David, Mudak, Ashley, Duppy, Gary, Andrew, and the no-code geocachers. That would be Northern Colorado. But thank you to all our patrons for keeping this show and all of our shows on the air. And we got a big night tonight. Let me bring in the crew and our guest for tonight. Been with us before many times. There's Nick. So Nick has been with us since the beginning. In fact,
true.
Nick appeared on Cache and Release. And what's funny about that, Nick, is that I talked to why did I draw a blank all of a sudden? Anyway, the former host of Cache and Release. I was just a co-host on that, but Nick appeared on Cache and Release. If anybody could ever find the old Cache and Release show podcast from it's literally, we're almost at 10 years. We've been doing this almost 10 years. But that was fun. So anyway, again, Nick, thank you so much for being with us tonight. We get to talk about 8.1. We've gone from 1 to 8.1 over those years. And so, yeah, it's going to be great. So looking forward to that, which we will get to in a moment. We're going to do a little bit of Twig, which is this week in geocaching. So I will start, and I'll let the guys get theirs in as well. Mine is very simple for this week, which is recovery mode, because I had a long trip to Florida to see Jesse and to visit the sea turtles. There's sea turtles, and had a great time. And I'm also making sure I get all my finds in correctly. We were blowing and going. We were finding caches all over the place, and I was trying to keep up with the notes. Fortunately, Dawn was with us, and she is very good at keeping track of all that. So I'm was being thankful that it's like, did we find this cache? It's like, yes, it's on the list. We did it. So anyway, so now I'm in the middle of checking for upcoming. We're going to have a Motley Caching Crew Day coming up.
Cool.
So definitely looking forward to that in a couple of weeks. So anyway, that's my twig for the week. How about you guys?
Oh man, guys, I got something super exciting to talk about. And of course it's Cachly. Cashly, but I'm going to talk about something else super exciting too, and it is Operation Worldwide Cache Hide. Like on this one, people know Nancy of the Deadliest Cachers, who Nancy is amazing. Shout out to Nancy and Geocaching Central, which is an awesome site. But there's a message. It's greetings. It's time to start thinking about the 4th annual, and it's crazy to think 4th annual Operation Worldwide Cache Hide. And this year is going to be launched on April 11th. So mark that on your calendars, guys, because there's going to be some amazing caches getting published this year on that day. But the project theme is games. And we all know that we love games. So energize your imagination and start designing a 50-point worthy container. And you could include a cool puzzle too, just saying. But all participants will receive a virtual badge that can be displayed on their geocaching profile pages. And cachers are also encouraged to set up events during January and February to kind of spread the word, get out there, get participation moving on that one. But it's a really cool time, and I could talk about this for a long time. But the key thing is go to geocachingcentral.com for more information on that one. But again, mark that date, Saturday, April 11th, because some awesome caches are going to publish on that one.
Cool.
I know. So every year some cool stuff happens. But guys, I got some other very, very, very important news on here.
Mm-hmm.
And this originates from our Facebook group. And if you're not part of the Geocache Talk Network community Facebook group, please do. But this comes in from Danielle Murphy. And Gary, I always butcher how to say her geocaching name. Do you know how to say her geocaching name?
No, it's crazy. Just call her Danielle.
Okay. So Danielle, guys, and I'm going to throw up a picture of this one. Check out. She tried this beautiful and amazing pickle pizza. So for our audio listeners, imagine multiple slices of heaven with pickles on and ranch dressing in pizza form. And this is what it is.
No, John, no.
Are you craving
John,
cheesy
wait,
goodness?
no.
It's time for Pizza Talk. Whether you're at your local pizza parlor, scarfing down gas station pizza, or just a fan of the greatest pie on the planet.
Yeah, guys, and welcome to Pizza Talk for tonight. We're going to talk about pickle pizza a whole lot more because we all know pickle green is the official color of Cashly, one of the best geocaching apps out there. Pickle green. Am I right, Nick? Is it pickle green or is it? You're muted, Nick.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Is my shirt pickle green?
Yeah, I'd say so to me. Yeah.
I don't know about
pickle
that.
Pickle green. Okay.
I can't even dispute that because that actually could be a color. So
to red green colorblind folks like me, pickle green, it seems like it would make sense. Just saying.
There you go.
Oh, that's true. Can you see green, John?
To me, Carrie, I call it pickle color.
Okay.
So things can resemble pickle color to me.
Okay. All right. We'll go with that.
Yeah. But I got some other news, guys, on my twig, and I'll make these quick. Okay. Is up here we actually had a warm stretch for a few days. So we were able to go out and do some caching. So a couple things is thank God for Adventure Labs and thank God for LPCs because they are wonderful winter weather caches. So we were able to do those. And with doing that, coming back to my goals, I have 4 hidden dates left. I got to do to complete all my hidden dates. So I'm doing that one. And other cool, quick news on this one. Earlier today, I submitted a Coffee Talk event. So if this publishes, this would be my first event I'm hosting of the year. So
Coffee Talk. Yeah. Where we
talk about all things geocaching and coffee. Yeah.
Like the old Saturday Night Live Coffee Talk.
Yeah, with Linda Richmond. Yeah, I'm kind of like Linda Richmond there, but I'm not dressed as Linda Richmond. So, just to be honest on that one.
Nice.
I don't know. People might like it.
They could, but I won't be dressed like that. Just saying.
All right.
If you were really committed to this event, you would dress up.
Okay, I'll think about it for next time. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jesse, you want to give a quick update?
Not tons for me. I only went out 2 days caching, but both of them. One was a hike. It was like about 3 hours worth of hiking or whatever, and I got about 10 caches, which was great. That's exactly what I wanted.
That's awesome.
And today we went out and found a bunch of virtuals. I wonder how I did that. I don't know. I use this app thing. But we did a virtual run. So we went, it was a big, about an hour and a half each way. Kind of a, maybe more of a circuit, but I mean, it was out and back, and then we got like 10 virtuals all in one day. So we had to go a few towns to do it, but we went around. So it's part of that slow down and pick exactly what we want instead of just trying to get the whole town cleaned out for this year. But so it worked perfectly.
Cool. That is awesome. Well, let's dive right in. Let's get into this. And first thing I think I asked Nick earlier this week, which was, do you have like a love-hate relationship with this new version? Because it's been a lot of work. You put a lot of effort into this new version, so I guess you're sort of happy, sad about it.
Yeah, definitely love hate. It's taken way longer than I had wished, but in my defense, it was learning a completely new platform. It's not just iOS. There's everything is different on there. You have limitations that you don't have on iOS. I had to start writing in a brand new language. Most of Cachly is written in Objective-C, which is kind of an older language of Apple. And I started writing in Swift for all of CarPlay. And moving forward, that's what Cachly will be written in. But it was kind of a steep learning curve to jump into this new platform and learn Swift at the same time, and then kind of ramp up into building out features. So,
that's cool.
Yeah, and at the same time, kind of juggling, other, Cachly on iOS, and there being bugs, and trying to fix those at the same time separately from, the development of the new version. So, yeah, I'm happy that it's been released. There's still some bugs that people have brought up that I'm working on fixing, and we'll release some smaller version updates. But on my development version, I've moved on to working on the multi-user logging. So cool. have not abandoned CarPlay, but that's my bigger focus right now. And then I'll work on the smaller little teeny features and bug fixes for CarPlay.
So multi-user logging, does that mean that John would be able to just ride around and log me into every one of his caches that he goes to?
Technically, yes, but it's more for like families, like when your kids are. It's not for cheating.
Yeah, no, don't do that. But we
God, yeah.
If you're in the car together, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna say, like, something tells me I gotta watch out when that date comes, because I could just imagine Jesse being like, "Dude, I'm outside your house right now,"
Let's go.
I know.
So a couple things I want to do at the start of this, and I think there's some things that I've already heard that I think this will be important for people to know, which is there is a complete user guide
yes,
that is out there at the Cachly website, and all of this information that we're going to talk about tonight is linked. It's all in the show notes. So very important that you go to the show notes. We provide them every week. It's very, very important. It's one of those things where I don't think people stop and listen sometimes. And I tell them, yes, Jesse's like raising his hand. He and I, with the descriptions, there's a whole story about that you can hear someday.
No, I mean, I did it on Cachly too, but we'll talk about that in a little while.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that.
I haven't read it yet either.
I think a lot of people do that. It's easy to just want to grab, the new version and go test it out without just reading all the features and how they work and stuff. I totally understand. But some of the obvious things, I hope that people will at least jump into the manual and at least read a little bit. They don't have to read everything, but read a little bit.
Oh, no, I'll absolutely read the whole thing.
Okay.
But I started off, I want to test it first. I have no background knowledge. So I went out today to test if I just turned it on and started playing with it, what would happen? And I found out how not to do a lot of things. So we'll get to
sure.
And we want our users all covered in that manual.
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah, I know. So that's great, though. No, it worked out well. That shows you how to mess it up. So I did the mess up case today. So we'll get into that one.
There's also, for those that are so inclined, there is a lot of really good information in the Facebook group.
Yep.
The Cachly user group, Cachly user group is out there. And if you go to it, I'm very appreciative. And I know, Nick, you are too, of the fact that people are asking really good questions. Your team that you have that are in Facebook that work on that, they're answering questions. It's like almost an interactive user's guide because so many things are, and people are like posting, photos, and then they're able to interact. And so it's a very, very good users group. And what I'm seeing is that, let's keep it this way. It's very much a non-emotional type of group. It's just like, I got this. What do you say we're here? So it's a very good, which is not usual for. No. I know John is our social media manager, and so fortunately, Jess and I don't have to deal with some of those other areas. So I don't know.
Come on, guys. I mean, most people are just so cool, online, especially for geocaching. I mean,
most people. Yeah,
most people.
And we get our share of like ridiculous questions, or people really annoyed about something that's super simple, or people annoyed that there's no Android version. Those kind of people.
Yeah.
But there is over 5,000 people on there. So there's a good mix of people that will answer questions. I'm not the ones having to answer every single question, which is really wonderful. Yeah. Most of the time, somebody will jump in and answer it, and I'll just not even comment if it's the correct answer. But then I'll jump in if it's not the correct answer or if it needs to elaborate on something. Right. So, yeah, it's a really good community.
It's funny, though, we have people like Quincy Crypt is like, Red, just stuff that you got to be dangerous.
Yep.
That's good. It's pretty funny. So anyway, yeah, Hodag, yes, you're gonna complain about the Android. We know. Thank you for being here to do that. So we got some items in the notes, and I know you've seen some of the stuff that we've got in there. So should we start and just kind of go through, or how would you want to go through some of this tonight? Nick,
I wanted to mention the limitations first.
Okay.
Because I think people aren't understanding the limitations of CarPlay itself.
Cool.
So if you want me to jump in those, I can. So
yeah, absolutely.
Just one of the two things that people will notice right away will be the base map is pro offline maps. And that's just the way it has to be because Apple doesn't allow us to put in like Apple Maps as a layer or Google Maps as a layer like I do on the iOS version. Okay. Basically, they're saying there's already a Google Maps app. There's already an Apple Maps app. We're not going to allow a third app that has those same features. They're really limited on CarPlay, so they want to keep it that way. So I'm fine with that. Base maps are offline maps. So if you don't already have, say I live in Washington State, I already have Washington downloaded. When I open CarPlay, I would choose that as my base map. If somebody didn't have an offline map downloaded, they would need to download one on their phone, not on CarPlay. The second limitation is that when it loads caches on the map, you can't tap them. That's just a limitation of CarPlay itself. Apple doesn't allow what we call touch events. So on iOS, you can tap a map or a pin, and there's a function that happens, and it pops up a little call out, and there's details. CarPlay, there's just no way that we can do that. It's not even possible. There's just no function that Apple provides for a user tapping on the screen, other than the buttons that are on there. So the side buttons and the top buttons, those are a specific template that I'm allowed to put a certain amount of buttons, and then I can give those functionality. But other than that, we can't do anything. So I think that's where users get kind of messed up because it's intuitive to want to touch it and tap those icons because they're used to doing that on iOS. So yeah, Jesse, you did that. Yeah, you did that.
Well, I tested everything on there.
Yeah.
How could you not though? Because I think for most people, you just get excited.
If you had a button on there that says "Do not touch this button," I would have pushed that button. So
yeah. So the alternative that we came up with is the button on the right side that you can see behind John's head to his the right of him. So it's the number of caches that are currently on the map. And if you're zoomed in far enough, you should see the name of the cache already on the map, and then you can tap that button and then correlate that with what you see in the list, and then you can navigate to that or view the details or something like that. So those are some big limitations that people just have to get used to because there's no way around them.
So you want to use what you referred to, or at least in the user's guide, which is a cache list button.
Yes.
Versus trying to, you can't click on pins on the map. You can click you can click though on the cache list.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that will change. That number will change based on how many are on the map. So if you continue to follow your location, you come into an area where there's 6 and there were 3, you'll see that number change. So it should be intuitive in the sense that they will see that number updating, and then that will hopefully make your brain want to tap that instead of tapping the map. So that's my hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and another limitation is people that live maybe in a state that's really, really small and you're right next to the border. Currently, it doesn't switch maps, and I don't have the option of showing multiple maps, offline maps at the same time, like I do in the iOS version. So if you drive across the border into a different state or different country, there's only going to be a little bit of overlap of the features in offline maps. You're going to have to then manually switch to the other map. So that's another limitation that I've had emails about, especially in smaller states or countries.
Yeah, we'll get into all the individual little doodads too, because I know we've had some people test, and I think one of them that's we'll get into some of those little individual ones here in a moment, but
sure.
A couple things is we want to talk about is because we kind of, I wouldn't say teased it, but we talked about the trips.
Yeah,
trips is a big option now. So what all did you would like to cover with the trips?
Sure.
Option.
So trips are basically offline lists, just kind of held in a separate place. And the reason we're not just viewing offline lists is because there's people that have massive offline lists. I have a beta tester who has like over 20,000 caches in an offline list, and that just wouldn't be possible to browse on CarPlay. Right. So it was either only show the first X amount from an offline list or come up with different lists that then would be specifically for CarPlay. So that's what we did. They're limited to 1,000 caches, which could either sound like not very many or a lot, because on some CarPlay systems,
right,
they're limited to showing 12 items on a list. And that's just a limitation of your manufacturer's CarPlay system. And so you would literally have to tap, there's a button there to load more. You'd have to tap that over and over and over to get deeper into your list. The easier way, if you do have a very large list, is to go to the trip and then you tap the map button, and that will actually put all the pins on the map. And then you could kind of zoom into your location that you want to see more caches, and then you could use that button on the right side of the map to view a list of those caches that are visually within the map. So that's kind of another limitation. So and the hard thing is that each car manufacturer is different. Some might allow 24 items in a list, some might allow 60, some might allow only 12. 12 is the minimum, but it really varies by car manufacturer, and I'll probably never know all the variations. There's
true.
So many. Yeah.
There's no way to know.
Yeah.
Interesting. So the other thing that I think has come up a few times, and I've seen it mentioned or talked about in the the Facebook user group page, which is Adventure Labs.
Yes.
Everybody wants to talk, right, John? Everybody wants to talk about Adventure Labs. Why? I don't know.
Gary, Adventure Labs are the future, my friend. We all know that. We all know
are
that.
Adventure Labs even around anymore? Is that something that's still is that a geocaching thing still? Is that
Adventure Labs, Gary? Oh, come on, Gary. You love Adventure Labs. You love treasures. We know those things.
I know.
Oh yeah.
And we all love caching. We know that too.
Yeah.
So
they're missing from CarPlay currently, and that was intentional. I didn't want to take the additional time to add that and make it the release even further off in the future. You can add them to a list, I keep on saying list, to a trip. So load them on iOS and add them to a trip. They will show up, and they should show the correct information. You just can't currently load them on the live map and as you're driving. So it shouldn't be that hard for me to add those. It's just I haven't done it yet. It's on my list.
But that's interesting, though. You can add it to your trip and it would add it. Okay, cool. That's really cool. I love
If you
that.
really want to fire people up, Nick, just say, I only added real caches to this.
Whoa.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wait, is that why where it goes aren't on there?
Oh. Bazinga.
Wow. Ouch.
Take that. Take that.
Sorry, Nick. Didn't want to get you caught in the crossfire there.
No
Sorry
worries. No worries.
Yeah.
All right. So over on to another thing that I think John had more success than Jesse. I'm not sure.
And I think John and I had different success levels for sure. But before we launch into that, Nick, how do you see, like, when you're envisioning people do? And I know you have, but you don't have to because you have 1,000 testers or whatever. But how do you envision people using this when they go out? Like, what would that activity look like?
Really, I like the idea of people finding new caches by just driving around, like in their daily life, and they have it open and they're seeing new caches pop up. That's how I tested it personally. I think my beta testers, which I don't have 1,000, have about 20 that are really, really active.
I'm just trying to make it sound really good.
Okay. They used it in different ways. I mean, a lot of them would be testing it on the way to work, and then they would report back that night, like, how it worked. Others were using the trip feature, on vacation or something like that. So really, I mean, it's up to the user how they want to use it. But I personally like the one where you just drive around and it's kind of loading them as you're going. That's fun to me to see if there's caches in my area. When I'm doing something else, when I'm not geocaching, you can also have that, loading at the same time. Yeah. And then jump into geocache mode.
Yeah, that's kind of a use case I was thinking of, because you can filter. It's based on what you like, your live list, but you can filter and only see certain types of caches. And if you just happen to come by one of those, it would show up on your map, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And David's one of my beta testers.
Oh, cool.
Now, now that I'm thinking about it, can I just filter out everything but first to finds on there? Is there any way to?
So you can set up filtering on your iPhone, and then you can tell CarPlay to use your iPhone filtering. So you can do pretty advanced filtering on your iPhone and then tell CarPlay to use that. So that's in settings.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if I could have it basically be an FTF detector. Like, no caches other than that show up. And if I'm driving anywhere, I might figure that out. I'm going to play with that.
On iOS, there's no way to just show FTFs except, you can set the publish date as today or as I
have to do it every day.
Yesterday and today, and then you could do that, and that would give you the best option to do it.
But on a road trip, that may be worth it. Who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how everybody actually, besides just driving around, like how people load it in, like what they use all their other. We're not going to know probably for a while, but I think people are going to find really different use cases for it. Yeah,
and I'm sure there's features that me as a developer and my beta testers, we didn't even think of, and then users will use it in a certain way and they'll be like, hey, add this, and we hadn't even thought of something.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Owen from KC mentioned that FTF detector would be great for mega trips.
Yeah. I mean, that would just be so cool, because I know for me, and I talked about this probably a bajillion times, I love getting an FTF while I'm traveling away from home.
Yes,
love it, and that's one of the things I love about
steal the FTF from the locals. God,
I don't even try to get them at home. I only try to get them when we travel. I don't even care about them around home because I've done them here.
I've only gotten one like that in New Mexico, and I felt bad because I stole it from the New Mexico people.
Oh, come on! You should not feel bad for that.
I don't view it the same way. I'm gonna try even harder to get it.
I know, because I got one. I was at a Waffle House one time, right? And I pull up Cachely, and then I see this reverse where I go, like that was just published, nobody found, and I was like, I am going to find that reverse where I go. I am going to be FTS, and sure enough, I was, thanks to Cachely.
There you go. Those are the best. Those are the best caches out there. Those reverse where I goes.
Yeah, that's the future. That's the real future of geocaching.
Okay, so the two of them, Nick, they've had, well, I don't think you really tested this, Jesse, but talk a little bit about voice logging, because I know that it's something that
I'd love to talk about that.
Some people like, some people don't. But
Yeah.
what's something you'd like to feature about that one, about voice logging? Is there anything new or?
Well, I mean, the reason that it had to be done was because you can show a keyboard on CarPlay, but some manufacturers actually then prevent that from actually coming up. So you have that problem. But I mean, for safety reasons and just it didn't seem right to just be, you're typing on there. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I really wanted just to be able to do it by voice. And again, there's no interface for the text to then come up to show you really.
Right.
So either you can speak it and then have it spoken back to you, or you can just save it maybe as a pending log in Cachly, and you can go look on your iPhone later. That's kind of the way if you really want to double check it. Cool. But yeah, it's. I think it's useful. I think a bunch of people have tested it. At least my beta testers, I tested it a lot. It worked well. There was some issues with different car systems. Sometimes it would work to do the playback, the audio playback. And when I was testing in various rental cars, some cars would work great, some wouldn't. And I even took it to Apple, and they're like, "Oh, we think this is a bug." So again, these are the difficult things you have to deal with because CarPlay seems like there's certain bugs on certain car manufacturer systems. And somebody commented on Facebook about this too, that you have to deal with all those things. There's iOS versions and then there's car manufacturer versions. So it's really a lot to deal with to try to make sure that these bugs don't really show.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I gotta tell you, I love the voice logging feature. Like yesterday, I uploaded a video on Geocache Talk because I found a cache. It was like at a cool lighthouse. CarPlay helped me navigate there. Consumed like half a Hawaiian large pizza beforehand. So I was very thankful for Cachely to help get me there, to that location. And it was cool because it just really helped kind of zero me in. And then I went out, I found the cache, and I didn't know about the logging feature, the voice logging feature, until I got back in the car. And it's always funny because for me as a cacher, like I'm always torn, right? I'm like, should I log it right now or should I like wait until I get back? But when I like popped it up and saw my touch panel, like, like log and then like found, and then I saw that voice feature, I'm like, I got to use this voice feature for sure, Yeah. And I got to tell you, I thought that was so cool because for a workflow, I'm like, man, if I just pop in the car, slam out that log in like less than a minute, upload it, and then I'm heading to the next cache, I'm like, that is going to be awesome, especially when I'm going on like a high volume cache day,
Yeah. And you can use text templates in there too. So either you can have your text template inserted and then you add your voice on top of that, or there's an option in settings to skip the voice logging and just use your template.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Oh, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. I love the templates in Cachely because it's just so great to use.
Yeah.
So just a reminder, if you have questions, and we want you to ask questions, and we have a few that are, as far as pull back the curtain, we have some that we star, and we will get to them as we go. So if you ask a question, Phil asked a question a minute ago, and we're going to get to your question. It's on our list. So we've got 3 in the starred category. So when we get to the point where we're going to go through, so please ask questions. Please ask anything appropriate tonight. And as I said, there will be a time toward the end. We're going to do user questions. So we're not ignoring you. We're making notes as we go. So continue to do that and give us good questions. So going back to what we were talking about, there's a couple things that I think is good to cover, and I think, Nick, you can kind of talk about how they've either changed or how they changed with CarPlay, and that is how the maps sort of work and how they zoom in and zoom out, and some of the things that are available. There was a question that was in the Facebook group, and it makes sense when you stop and think about CarPlay, because they were asking, hey, because they're thinking about it from their phone. They're like, I love the fact that I can set Cachely to be north is straight up.
Yep.
And then people were very nice, and they put in the notes or in the answer back was like, well, but you don't drive straight north all the time. So you want to have it interact with you because you're in a car and you're driving. So
Yeah.
what are some things that you'd want to cover with the map parts?
Yeah, so that specifically, users brought up a good point that we hadn't thought of in testing, and I didn't think was even necessary, at least for my use case.
Right.
But I, after they mentioned that, I see that Google Maps has that option. I think Apple Maps also has that option for CarPlay. So it's a pretty easy thing to add. So I will be adding that in 8.1.2.
Cool.
So that'll just be in the settings. It'll default to what it is now, which is following your course. The map rotates based on your course.
Right.
But yeah, that'll be a user option in settings. What was your other question about the maps?
Just that people like to, and we all kind of guess have different ways that we want the map to look. Like,
Yeah.
some people like a really, really large map. I do the opposite. I like to make them kind of smaller on the screen, and so I guess everybody has sort of their preferences as to how much of a map you want to show.
Talking about zoom level?
Yeah, kind of a zoom
Yeah.
level, and what are some options or some things that you'd want to feature on that?
Sure. So one limitation or requirement of CarPlay is that we have a panning button. That's a requirement if you have a mapping app. So the bottom right icon on the map is called a panning button. And if you have, like I said, a navigation app, you have to include that. So when you tap that, that brings up a panning feature with some arrows, and you can make that go up, up, down, right, left. And that's for systems that don't have touch. I don't know how many CarPlay manufacturers don't have touch where you can't, swipe the map around, but that's why it's there. And that is the screen that brings up the zoom buttons as well. So we're limited in how many buttons can be shown at one time on CarPlay. So that's why the zoom buttons aren't just already there.
Right.
So to your point, there was a user who asked about, while I'm navigating and it's following me, can I change the zoom level? And the answer is yes. You just have to make it follow you first. So tap the current user button and then go into pan mode so that the zoom buttons are shown. And then you can zoom in or out and it will continue following you. And you can hit done and it will be at the zoom level that you chose. So again, that's because we're limited by how many buttons there is. That's why I can't just have those always shown. So
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yep. So that's, I don't know, the Jesse and John did the testing this past few days. Or does it work for you guys as far as, or did you have to kind of fiddle with the map part?
No, the map part worked pretty well for me, I think. And it's funny because I think a lot of people who maybe are newer to Cachly or getting back into Cachly now, it's trying to determine like how to interact with those maps, and navigate a little bit. So I think it's just getting used to that. But I think for myself, like I found the maps well. I was driving and I was adjusting the zoom, like exactly what you guys were saying.
Yeah.
To see some caches, because, and just to bring up a comment quick that was made earlier, by David on here. He says he grabbed 2 caches he wouldn't have normally done because he had Cachly CarPlay up and they showed a high favorite count. So, that is definitely a benefit to Cachly CarPlay because, like actually in my background here, for anybody watching the YouTube one, they can see like a couple of caches that have like favorite points that, I like that feature because if you're just kind of like freestyling driving through an area, and I'll admit I'm a freestyler sometimes, guys, where I'm like going out there on the road, and like for something like this on my dash, if I see a high favorite point cache, yeah, I mean, that's definitely going to draw me in, big time. So, for me, it seemed to work well, which was nice.
Right.
Yeah. The map, that was intuitive to me. I didn't have a hiccup on how to navigate around in the map, which is funny because my issue was with how am I going to use it? Like how I use Cachly, like what is this going to be useful for me? And then I was trying to see how that works. And I made some mistakes on that. We kind of talked about it ahead of time, but I think that to me, that was the same as I was used to. That's exactly how I expected that map part to work.
Yeah.
Again, it's just the okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to drive around freestyle or load a list? I think that's going to be the big thing for us is learn how to use the app. Of course, you do that, and is how do we make it fold into our normal? Because we just use Cachely all the time. So how does this new layer change how we're going to be caching?
Yeah.
So we're going to get into the guys, some of their issues or what they got into here in a minute. So there are different perspectives, I guess, on how to use. I guess it has to do also with people's use of CarPlay. Is that something that I think? Because you talked about the fact that the CarPlay, it's kind of been hard to to program for it because it's and Phil or David brought up a good point, which was that I never thought about this, but he mentions about that you also used an aftermarket CarPlay unit, which is God, I can't imagine there being. I mean, you got enough issues with different car manufacturers, but now you got things like this.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is that basically the software is running off your phone. So that is an advantage that Apple has, is they can make it congruent in that way that it's running off your phone rather than the software running on the device. The touch part is running on the device.
Right.
But luckily it can be somewhat the same by them using it from your phone, and that's why you can't do it off an iPad, because it just doesn't connect in that way. You can't do CarPlay off an iPad. But one of the limitations I want to mention that we didn't talk about was the navigation using offline maps. And I think Jesse ran into this, or I know Jesse ran into this.
Yeah.
And it's that there's currently no turn-by-turn directions for offline maps. It currently just does a line of sight. It draws a line similar to what Cachely does now on iOS. It just shows a straight line. We don't have turn-by-turn directions on iOS either. And users can then choose, if they want to use a different mapping provider. So CarPlay provides, Cachely CarPlay provides Apple Maps, Google Maps, Waze, and then TomTom. So those are the mapping providers for once you've chosen your caches and you want to navigate to them. You can hand those off to those mapping providers. Or you can use the offline maps option with just the red line, and that interface has been developed as well. It's just not turn-by-turn directions. Hoping in the future I can add those to offline maps, but that's in the future.
Okay,
so
cool.
Yeah,
and that's what we were trying to force it to do today. And obviously, it doesn't do that.
Yeah, it's a hard feature to develop.
Yeah. No, and it makes sense, but I didn't read any manuals or anything. I just plugged it in and started messing with it. So
yeah,
so I didn't have any background on it. But it was funny because we've used Cachely for so long. When when it wouldn't do something it wasn't supposed to do, and I couldn't figure out how to make it, force it to do that. Immediately, I just went back to. I'm like, just go back to the app. That's how long I've used that. I'm like, that is my normal maps to use. And if I would have just thought through that, I should have not. I didn't read anything, but I should have figured out this is not how that works. It works how the same way it's always been working. And I was trying to make it do something it totally didn't do. So once I figured that out, it was a lot more successful though.
Right.
Yeah. Hey Nick, can I share my screen for just a second? I want to just share on here my phone because I think for a lot of people who use Cachely, it's like trying, always a question I get from people is how do I get navigation there?
Yeah.
So I'm pulling up, and big shout out to See My Shelf for placing an Earth cache nearby me that I'm going to totally log for International Earth Cache Day.
There you go.
But on here for people, and if I'm doing this a different way, you let me know, Nick. But for most people, you pull up the cache on here, then you're clicking on the compass looking icon on here, and then you're going up to these three dots, and then you're selecting your maps up here. Or if it's connected in CarPlay, you then see the CarPlay option as well too to click on.
Yeah. So if like you're saying, if you're using iOS, you can push the cache from the iOS version to CarPlay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah, and I just wanted to show that because some people who I've talked to in the past about Cachly, they're not really kind of sure where that connection is to then navigate on there.
Yeah. And there's way more routing providers on iOS than in Cachly on iOS than there is in CarPlay so far. I'm kind of going one by one to see if those apps that I've supported in the iOS version actually have a CarPlay app, because if they don't, then there'd be no reason for me to add it to CarPlay. So that's why I only had 3 to start with, and then in 8.1.1 I added TomTom Go. I think it's TomTom Go. So yeah, because that was the next user requested one.
Oh, it was TomTom Go. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So the and somebody mentioned earlier about and you could see kind of part of that from what's behind John, but you can, when you see it on, in your CarPlay, it you can see like favorite points and all the stuff that you would normally see on the Cachly app.
Yeah.
So,
well, the favorite points is new.
Okay, favorite points is new. That's what I was going to ask you about. So, that's something that was, from what I understand, I don't use it, but is the on the traditional geocaching app, they've got that on there, because I just use Cachly, but which is very cool that that's on there. So, and I can imagine, just like what people are talking about, is like I would want to start to click on the button on the car, and it's like it just sort of I guess is a natural thought, is that you want to turn CarPlay into your laptop. You want to turn it into your phone.
Yeah.
Is what you're thinking, is that it's like my phone. I can just click on the different things here on the CarPlay.
Yeah.
And you can't really think of it like that.
Yeah, it's just kind of changing that mindset. And like I think we talked about before the show started, even Apple Maps and Google Maps, you can't tap the pins either. They'll show kind of like a list on the side of the map of, if you search for like Starbucks or something like that, you can't tap on the pins that they've dropped. So it's across the board, it sounds like, and I think it has to do with safety. Apple doesn't want you tapping those kind of things, and in different countries the laws are even more strict, especially in like the UK, about touching a device or anything like that. So
how is the interaction back? So we were talking about how you can voice log.
Yep.
Is there anything you can do as far as have it? Well, the turn by turn is turn by turn. That's the whole thing. But is there any interaction back as far as like have it read you information, kind of like a lot of times I use Apple Maps. And Apple Maps will tell you, I guess because I'm old, but I like the fact that Apple Maps, I know Jesse laughed.
Wait, Gary, I got to come back to your old comment on here, my friend, because I've heard rumors that tomorrow is your birthday. Is this true?
I think so. I'm so old, I don't know.
You think so? Like you're so old you forgot your birthday?
No, it is tomorrow. You're right.
Oh man. Well, happy birthday, my friend. Happy birthday, Gary.
Thank you very much. Appreciate y'all. But the reason I like things for the Apples, like especially when you're when you get down to an urban situation, it's not as big when you're just driving down the road highway, but when you get down to urban situations where you're like, okay, I'm driving, I got somebody who's yakking at me or whatever, the kids are in the car, they're doing their thing. But the thing about Apple is like, it'll say, turn your turn is as after this light. It's like, go down 2 lights, then turn. You're like, oh, good. So, the interaction then with Cachly and whatever app you're using is sort of integrated, right? So you're like, okay.
You're basically passing the location you want to navigate to off to those apps, and then they'll do the same thing they do always. They'll use voice and different things like that, and have live traffic and things like that, which is great because we could never provide those kind of things. I mean, they spend billions of dollars on their apps, especially Google, and Apple too. So.
Well, it's funny too because we've talked about this before with Waze. I love Waze, but there's a couple times when Waze will do weird, like, and I don't know if you guys have run across this, where you need to go to sort of the back of the cemetery is where the cache is, because a lot of times caches are in the back of a cemetery, at least for the ones that allow for cemeteries. Well, Waze would a lot of times take me to the back of the cemetery, outside of the cemetery. So you drive to the back of this fence and you're like, here you go, you're there. You're like, no, I'm not going to jump a fence here. It's like there's these little integrated things that I'm hoping one day some of these map creators will get right, because it's almost the intelligent side of maps. And I know you've had to work with all the different, the ones you've talked about. So is there, I guess, are there any of them that you would think are better? I know it's really rough to say that, because some people are like, oh, I'm going to use Waze no matter what. I love Waze, but is there, in your experience with using these different ones, as you, like you said, as you're handing these off, are there certain apps that tend to work better, you think, for caching that you think people should use? Or, I mean, that's going to make a lot of people mad.
I always like Google Maps. I think it has the best data. I think Apple has probably caught up, to the accuracy of the data. I don't like Waze for CarPlay for the fact that the integration for Cachely is you can only send one cache or one location to navigate to. Whereas the other navigation apps, you can send like 10 or 12 and it will show all the different points, and it will show your route through those points and, the time to those. Waze does not have that ability. You can only send one cache. So that if they update their app and they update that integration between that, I will add it. But currently it's just one cache, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Wow. So how many, and this is, I know, Jesse's question, how many could you stuff in there? Like, could I do 100 caches in a day and not have to do any kind of changes? Cause I put all of them into the CarPlay and I can just go bam, 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 go from one to another, to another, to another. Is there, obviously it's a limitation probably of CarPlay. It's not a cache limitation.
Yeah. I believe that neither Apple or Google publish how many you can send to their kind of API that they have. So I've limited it to 12 because I don't know if they would change it anytime, and it's not published anywhere. So right now you can navigate to 12 at a time and send it to another routing provider.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. There you go, Jesse. We do 12 at a time without having to stop it.
Hey, I'm not power caching this year. That's not my, maybe next year.
That's the way it used to be.
I have done a lot of that. Yes, I have.
Caching with Jesse and the lovely wife, Christy, is like, okay, log it. Let's go. Get back in the car. Let's go. Get back in the car. Let's go. Like, I'm trying to put get the log back in the container and let's go.
Yeah,
come on.
I know one time Jesse yelled at me for like rolling out the log the whole way. He's like, what are you doing, man?
What are you doing?
You just rolled out the log the whole way. Do you know how much time you wasted? He's like, you just take it and you just initial and then put it back.
When you're in a hurry, sometimes
Put it over.
It's not all the time, but we had to be somewhere.
Oh yeah. I know. You're like, how many caches can we slam out like 10 minutes before this patron event? Yeah.
Come on.
Hey, we got several. So
True. Absolutely.
My little wind-up toy car we did great.
Yeah. There's a car they rented one time. Was it? Yeah, it was in Oklahoma.
Yeah, that was in Oklahoma. Yeah, it was the cheapest production car in America. Cheapest car produced in America currently.
The smallest car ever made.
Did you have the Fisher Price like sticker on that, or did it come that way?
Just about. I went to the lot nearby. They have one. I went to go see because I had to look up that car after I got back home, and I did find out it's the cheapest car currently being made.
Oh wow!
Fully loaded with Apple CarPlay on the lot, $18,000.
Wow!
So you can imagine how tiny this car is.
Yeah.
Now you're talking.
How big was the CarPlay screen?
Half the size of the car. It looked like a big screen in there.
That's awesome. All right. So, John, should we go through? We've got a few items.
Yeah, let's go through the comments and
yeah.
And what I want to bring up here too is tag. So Trish and the tag in GSDs, Trish said she got an FTF yesterday because of Cashly and the FTF icon.
Nice.
And this is one I always want to mention because I know we talk about it, but people may not fully understand. Is if you have Cashly open and a cache has not been found, it will actually display as FTF. So it will display as a unique icon.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's the way that I found vacation caches before that I was FTF, and I didn't feel bad. Gary feels bad for those. Let Gary feel bad. But
I do.
But just pull it up because that is one of the game changers of Cashly is that FTF. And there's so many game changers of Cashly. We could spend another hour talking.
Oh, yeah.
But I think,
caches, another one.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Cache Radius. I use it for every time I hide a cache to make sure that I'm not too close to another cache to hide. So
Yep. You don't have to
always do that. Always do that. And we have a question from Phil Cunningham, who said, "Okay, which car should we purchase for CarPlay to work back?"
Car.
I don't think that any of us can answer that. I don't know. I will say that when I've been in a rental car and it was like a Hyundai, they had an amazing like widescreen that was huge, and that was like the best CarPlay I've ever had. Was in a rental car, a Hyundai, and it was amazing. So that's the only thing I can say is that I really enjoyed that big widescreen.
Very
But there's a million car manufacturers out there. There's a million like aftermarket CarPlay that you can buy and put on your dash. So it's hard. I would just read reviews for them.
Yeah.
So how long until you upgrade the? I asked you this before. The autopilot like they have in Tesla, where this can just take me to the caches, me to take a nap in the back, and is that 8.2 or what is that one? I'm not sure.
8.2,
maybe 9.0.
And now we'll wait on that one then.
Why do I get the sense, Jesse, you're going to become a sleepwalker when this happens?
Yeah, so think about it like you go into town, and this is a new business we get open. You come into town, new town, you're staying in town. Oh, you want the car that'll take you to all the caches in town today? Here you go. Here's your keys. That's a pretty good business. I'm just saying.
And we know with the multiple logging feature coming on this one too, then this all kind of nicely dovetails together.
That's right.
It's true.
Well, Jeff just puts +1 on all his, so it doesn't really matter about
That's
that.
Right. Dot.
+1.
Yeah.
Voice logging is very easy for Jesse. It's just +1.
Yeah, +1. Now I might have to do that. That'd be actually pretty funny.
Now TFTC is like logged from the CarPlay +1.
Yeah, +1.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah, we're moving on.
Yeah, we got one from Brian at kblast.com, aka kblast. He says he uses Cashly exclusively, but he wants to convince his wife that he needs Cashly Pro. What are the best reasons for going Pro so he can convince her?
Well, there's CarPlay. That's part of Pro. There's Pro offline maps. There's live loading of caches where you can just, this is on iOS, and you can just drive around and they'll be loading on the screen, similar to CarPlay. What's the other feature? I'm forgetting. There's more to come. So the multi-user logging is going to be part of Pro, and then route tracking and importing like GPX routes and showing those on your map. That will be an additional feature of Pro. So those are the kind of the two bigger. Well, there was 3 features that I promised in 8.0 that I didn't release right at 8.0. That was CarPlay, multi-user logging, and then the routing. I think initially said that I would release all of them in 8.1. That was going to take too long, so I did CarPlay, and then it will be multi-user logging in 8.2, and then 8.3 will be the last big feature of the routing. Yes. Thank you, David. Yes. Counties and yes. That was another big feature. Yeah. DeLorme.
Yeah. People love DeLorme. We got to talk about DeLorme again someday. Okay. Keep going there.
Yeah. Nels bloody cool. Shout out to Nels. I think about you, Nels, whenever I order from Domino's, that special pizza, by the way. But he asked, is there a quick way to see/select a parking waypoint?
Are we talking about in CarPlay or are we talking about on iOS? On CarPlay, you cannot currently see any waypoints. So that's something on the upcoming features list to be able to navigate or see waypoints. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Good to know. Future items.
Yep.
I'm sure you've got, as usual, a whole list of. So you've obviously done this, and you do this. I remind people this is not your full-time job. You have a full-time job, and Cachly is
true.
a side job
Yep.
that you have, and you have such a great team. That's the other thing. A big shout out.
Yeah, to the beta testers, absolutely. They are amazing help through the entire process. They find 90% of the bugs basically because they're out there testing it in real world circumstances, and there's me being the programmer and going out geocaching, not as much as they do. So
right,
yep.
So, based on that, when you run into a situation like this, and it's been some years since you've we're at a 0.0 type of situation.
Yeah.
Do you have to sort of juggle now between bug fixes that are now on you got a list of bugs that you want to fix, but you also got features that you really want to put in now that okay, this feature that's been beta tested is good to go for the public. And so how do you decide, or do you mix? Is it a mix of the two? You put in bug fixes and features, or how do you approach, how do you integrate those things, or do you integrate those things?
Do you mean like, how do I, like when I'm programming, how does that all work?
Well, like the next one I guess is 8.11.
8.12 will be a bug fix update that will include like the north up and some bug fixes,
something like that. So that's the way you do that. So for features, you're going to do there'll be an 8.2 that has this more feature rich.
Yeah, that will be kind of the larger feature of the multi-user logging, and usually that's the way you do it is like 8.2, 8.3, and there'll be some bigger features in there. Okay, if you're doing a micro version, 8.1.1, it's mainly bug fixes and some really small features.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
And just to mention, so the features list and all of my bugs are actually public. So there's a place called GitHub that they're actually all on. And I tell people this sometimes, like often people will report them on Facebook, and I don't want to be somebody who's like, well, don't report them here, go here, and then you have to create an account. But if people are really interested, all those are public, so you can see the upcoming features and bugs that are currently for CarPlay and the list of bugs and features that are upcoming for Cachly. There's no promises for any sort of features that are on that list. But yeah, those are all logged on that public website.
Okay, cool. We have in the notes, we have a link to the complete user's guide, the Pro Cachly CarPlay complete user's guide. So just a reminder that's in the show notes, and that you can read that, and it's very well laid out. In fact, let me go through and at least show it.
Yeah.
So let me show let me share my screen and show that, because I think that's key.
And what you're going to show also can be accessed through the More tab, and then go to Help and Support, and you can actually access all the help documents right in Cachly as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. So let me go back to the beginning. So, it's on the website, but it's very well laid out. You've got on the side, you got your frequently asked questions, what's new in 8.1, 8.x, Cachly, and it goes through and gives you like all the features, and just very, very well done.
Yeah. And this is help.cachly.com. That's how you access the help documentation.
Right. Very cool. So, so there's all these things are out there, and it's so key to see all the features, and like I said, all the new items that are out there is very critical, and I love it. Features, Cachly Pro, what's new, and you go through like I said, the complete user's guide we're showing on the screen. And I like the fact that it's and you have good graphics, good information. Cache the icon not showing tells you what to do. Yep. And it kind of goes through and shows you. God, I never heard of some of these. Sigic. There's a whole.
Some of them are from other countries, and we have a lot of users in Germany and different places. So there's different apps that us in the U.S. might not notice or be aware of.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you. Yeah. CarPlay map controls. Jesse, there's actually here what you're supposed to do, and I just jump in and run with it.
No. I have to test it first, just blind, just straight in.
True. That's true.
But I'm one that will actually read the entire manual. So
I know you will. That's funny. Oh,
hey,
look,
these are our tools, right? This is what we do in geocaching. This is our tools.
Yep.
Huge, powerful tool, and used differently by almost every person. So
yeah. So you got all the information there, the map behaviors, the browsing. Stop me if view the cache list, because we're kind of sort of get toward the end. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Nick, is there something in particular? Like, here's the one thing we were talking about earlier is that.
That's the list view where you have to see the caches that were on the map in list view. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So really, I think we've kind of briefly touched on almost everything that's in the documentation, including the limitations. So there's a list of limitations at the bottom of the documentation, just reminding users that this is not the iOS version. You can't do everything. Myself as a developer can't just add any feature that I want to. I have to follow the templates that CarPlay provides.
Right. Yeah. That's very key. So, all right, cool. And then you go through and talk about navigating to the caches, navigate to cache, view cache, or cancel. It's very good. Whoever I know you worked on and your team worked on just how all these things work, and everything in here is great to know, because it's all here. Proximity alerts is very cool. Again, talking about FTF things. So, all right. Well, stop sharing and let's get back to the beginning. And I guess we'll go around, and Nick, we'll let you go last. But John or Jesse, you got the real world experience. I'm just I guess I'll start and let you guys talk. But so far, so good. I love the way this works. I'd love to get a new vehicle someday and have CarPlay, but I will
say, Gary, you could, for $100 off Amazon, you can get one that goes on your dash.
Okay,
so,
there you go. Yeah. Maybe I should do that. Get a CarPlay that way. So that's perfect. But just love Cachely. Also, gives me a chance to mention again that if you go into Cachely, you go into let me find it. So you go you hit the double dots, you go to tip the developer.
Oh. Yeah.
So let me show that real fast, and then I'll let you guys talk about then. So if you look in here, there's a button right here for tip the developer. And for just a few dollars, you can give a tip. And
it's very kind.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's something that I would recommend. This is a good time to do that. So definitely pull up your tips to developer, and you pick a tip, and there you go. I think that's a perfect time to mentioning of that, because this is not his regular job, and this is a nice thing to give him for that. So all right. So John or Jesse, what are your final thoughts for tonight?
I'll go because John did it the right way and I did it the wrong way. So
no, not wrong.
Different. No. And I went out blind testing it and went out and totally tried to figure it out and I made it seem like it was caching on my phone, right? So for me, it's just going to be another layer. Now I get to go back, read the manual. I'm going to get to go out again now, having known that, but it's just going to be another layer. And I'm excited to see how people use it, right? Yeah. Like there's no way I'd want to be on your side, Nick, and be a developer and build this huge, powerful tool and test it for a long time. And then something you didn't think of happens the first day. Like, well, what if we do this? And then be like, I just spent 2 years doing this. So I don't want to think about that side, right? And I know that's what's supposed to happen, but I don't want to think about that side at all. I want to think about the other side. And now I know my usage of it is going to be way up because I can't think of a scenario where I'm going to be driving around when I'm not caching and still not have Cachely on. it's going to be on all the time now. Is what I'm because if I'm going to go to this new part of town. Well, I'm obviously going to have that on just because you never know what's going to show up. So I'm excited to hear people's stories. It's great. It's going to work great, just like Cashy always does. You're going to always continue to improve it. But I'm really excited to hear people's stories of how they're going to use it, because even the three of us all use it completely differently.
Yeah.
So people are going to use it so many different ways. That's what's going to be kind of fun, 6 months from now, to find out how people have developed these workflows. That's what I've always find interesting about Cachly, is such a big tool. There's so many different ways to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I agree, Nick. I just always got to thank you so much for everything that you're doing. And I mean, and again, acknowledging, I mean, this isn't your day-to-day job. This is like a passion project that you do that brings so much joy and enhances everybody's geocaching experience. That this is huge. And
thank you.
And always thank you for that one. And I always say that because, Cachly, like you arrange on your home screen. Cachly is my second app in the upper left-hand corner. So it's always there for me because, like, like we were saying, I mean, it's like, Jesse kind of described, like, how he feels. It's like when you're there with Cachly, like driving around, or you have it on your app, I mean, it just opens up so many more possibilities. Because I remember when I first started geocaching and targeting caches and using the HQ app, is I'd go somewhere and then, like, afterwards I'd realize I'd miss out on stuff.
Yeah.
And especially missing out on, like, FTF. I love, like, in Cachly for CarPlay, like how you can see the favorite points. I mean, to me, that's going to be big as a freestyler driving around and seeing those big ones, and then just, like, hitting the brakes and then, like, turning around as fast as I can, to get those favorite point caches. Because I just think of this one, and I can't remember if I've ever told this on the show. Going down to Cache Fest when it was Cache Fest Memphis, I drove right past the Cache Across America at the Corvette factory.
Oh no!
Multiple times, like probably at least like 4 times on different trips down, and I never stopped for it because I didn't realize I was driving right by it.
Yeah.
But just to think, if I had like Cachly and CarPlay, and to see those favorite points like right there on the side of the road that I'm driving right by, I would have stopped, and gotten that Cache Across America. So to me, I'm just like, man, if only I could have had Cachly with CarPlay like years ago, it would have been so much more incredible. But we have it now, and I'm so incredibly thankful for that one. And I love the voice logging. I think everybody's got to try that out and see what they think on that one. And I love what David brought up, is just make sure you say geocaching, because if you say caching, it's going to spell it like money.
True.
Not like geocaching. So I thought that was a great tip for David. But yeah, as always, Nick, thank you for everything you do, man. Always really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, Nick, you get to have the final word tonight.
Yeah. So the one thing I wanted to mention that I want to do better at is the integration from CarPlay to your iPhone. So CarPlay will get you to a location on a street, and then you got to use your phone. So currently, if you're using Pro Offline Maps, the integration is a little better. So if you navigate to a cache using CarPlay, you get to location, and you grab your phone, you get out of your car, and you pull up Cachly. That cache that you chose to navigate to will pop up right on your screen. It will be ready there waiting for you, and then you can navigate using your phone. I have plans to build that in for other mapping apps as well. It's a little more difficult to know, say on Apple Maps, if you wanted to do navigating to 5 caches, which cache you are currently on, because you're not in Cachly anymore. But that's something I'm working on, how I can make that integration from car to walking towards the cache more seamless. So
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that'd be awesome.
That'd be cool.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Nick. As always, appreciate you, my friend. Thank you again for your gifts that were given for Podcast to Hope and the helping to raise the money we raised for St. Jude has been tremendous. And we appreciate you and some of the other vendors, developers, people we've had on that have helped with that. We raised more this year and we passed 100,000. So
Wow.
we were very excited for what we've been able to do. And I don't see us ever switching off of St. Jude. We're committed St. Jude supporters. Well, obviously, but also from a show perspective, has been critical. So, thank you for being part of that. And we've got a show coming up, John. What's coming up here?
Oh, Gary, we got a great one. Emily and Tim on Challenge Talk this Tuesday, January 13th at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. They're going to focus on year 2000 July caches. And this is awesome, right? They have Captain John and Captain Mike. So if people don't know, to get some of those really special old ones in July, you got to get them by boat. And these are the captains that help people with having amazing experiences and getting these caches. So I'm really excited. I've never actually chartered from either of them yet. So I'm going to take some notes, watch the show, and get excited.
Yes, I have chartered from both of them, and they are tremendous. They are both geocachers, so they are familiar. So if you talk, you talk the geocaching logo or jargon, they're going to know exactly what you're talking about. They know specifically where to go. In fact, both of them are so good as far as telling you, especially, well, both of them, but they will tell you, they'll take you to the Power Island, they'll take you out to on Lake Lanier, and they'll take you to each spot. They are more than just the captains. They're sort of your personal chauffeurs for the day. And they are tremendous. They will give you all of the details of what to do, where to go, especially for, Power Island. Well, even the smaller islands on Lake Lanier, but they'll say, okay, cache is up there. Here's how you get there. Here's the trail. Mm-hmm. Good. I mean, they're very good about that. For Power Island, they'll say, okay, he'll take you up on the shore. He'll take you to the map that's there, and he'll say, okay, here's what you need to do. You go around this way, clockwise. You go over here. Here's the trail. He explains the whole map to you, and just lays everything out for you. So they are tremendous. I would never attempt Lake Lanier or Power Island without Captain John and Captain Mike. That's how important it is to have them. So to hear them is going to be a huge and a great day for folks that, even if you're not doing Jasmer or anything like that, and you just want to find those caches, you gotta watch that show, because those guys are a trip. They are a trip too. They're fun, and so they're well worth it. So there you go. All right. We will see everybody then on the next show. And again, thanks everybody for being with us tonight. So good night, everybody.
Thank you,
everybody.
You bet.
May your finds be many and your DNFs be few. May the terrain and difficulty both be less than 2. And whatever it is you're looking for, may it find its way to you. And may we all meet again.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.